So it all comes down to this. We're in the Finnigan40K Fight 'em Up Primarchs and their Posse series final. You guys just saw the forces. It is Magnus the Red, Demon Primarch of the Thousand Suns versus Roboute Gilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines. Roboute got a bye there to get to the finals. We just saw Magnus as well last battle. I don't want to say thwomp, but did a pretty good job against the Dark Angels and the Lion. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. Both of these forces have range. I would give the range to the Thousand Suns, however, and there's no fights first this time either. So Roboute is going to have to try to use that second life ability through the Armor of Fate. Going to get over to the dice tray here in just a sec, showing you guys the battlefield first, same as last time. And we're going to roll off to see who's going to be placed first, move first, and shoot first. Behind the dice tray to get this roll off going. Here we are. So I'm going to be using red dice again. I'll do that for the Ultramarines. White dice for the Thousand Suns. Let the Ultramarines roll first. They are in the finals as per that bye. So the home team will say it is a 1. Thousand Suns, 1 as well. The battle already begins with the roll off. Ultramarines, 3. Thousand Suns, 5. Once again, the Thousand Suns will be set up on the field first. I'm going to look at it, but I have a very good idea, I think, as per how it went last time. I want to take that range attack away from the Ultramarines. But I'll look at the table, think things through, place the models, and I'll be back to show you guys where they're all set up. The forces have been set up. I have done a very similar strategy for the Thousand Suns as last time, and I have taken away the oil rig tower from the Ultramarines, be a very good shooting point for them. Changed up the order a little bit here. There's only 3 models for the Thousand Suns, so not too much to change, but I have the Exalted Sorcerer, kind of a lone operative there on the left. I have Magnus and Orion beside each other. And this, I'm hoping, if they're very close to each other, they're going to be, of course, able to like buff each other out, but also use one another as shields and have those Cabal sorcerer moves and anything else coming down on a set target, while the Exalted Sorcerer is kind of floating around and causing a bit of a deception for the Ultramarines. Over on the flip side here, from the side of the Thousand Suns, the Ultramarines are lined up as so. So we have Marneus Caligar with his Victrix Honor Guard on the left. We have Roboute Gilliman with the Relic Shield Captain in front of him, kind of as his own bodyguard. And I'm going to try to keep this unit very close to Roboute to be able to get all of the buffs off of him. There's still some pretty good stuff here. Marneus, last time, he lost his Victrix Honor Guard quite early, but he does have a Feel No Pain 4+ while they're both there, or when one is there. So we're going to keep getting this one going, and I've really got to get a strategy going here for the Ultramarines to see. I'm going to be fighting hard for both sides as always. This is going to be a really tricky fight. And from what I'm seeing, the Thousand Suns have been absolutely astonishing so far. So we're going to get this one going. I'm going to do the Thousand Suns movement here first. If anyone's in range, we're going to get that going. Probably no hand-to-hand combat, but that would be next after that. So here we go. Let's get the finals started. So very quick move there by the Thousand Suns. I had Magnus roll up his full 14 inches. Orion is just right behind him as his movement is 10. The Exalted Sorcerer is in beside the Prometheum tanks. No one in range yet. If you guys look here, there is a little bit of line of sight there, but someone would have to be up in the landing pad for the Ultramarines to be able to fire. But Magnus has hidden himself behind this central pole, so I'm going to say that he is in cover, most definitely. And then Orion as well, if we bring it right down here. Don't know if anyone's going to be able to get range in on him. Exalted Sorcerer might be open, but the Ultramarines do not move as fast as these Thousand Suns. I'm going to continue to plunk away with the Cabal Sorcerers as my plan so far for Orion and for the Exalted Sorcerer. I'm unsure if Magnus can do his 2 shoots as well as his Cabal. It's very possible. I might have to reach out and see if that rule is the case, because if that is, he could do a Cabal Sorcerer plus his 2 shoots. These guys, I don't think anyone would be able to stop them, so I'm going to play conservative for both sides, just making sure that it's the limitation of each of their abilities and nothing more. And I'll decipher the rules as we go ahead, but we're going to get over to the Ultramarines now, do their move, and I'll see if anyone is in range, and if so, we will start the shoots. Hope this isn't too shaky, but as you can see, Orion from this angle is behind a post. When you swing it over here, Roboute has moved, and he has Ryman actually in line of sight and in range. There's going to be no extra bonuses with that, but this might be the first couple casualties of the game. We will see how that goes, and we're going to get to the tray right now, start rolling. Over on this side, we had Magnus and his Victrix Honor Guard move up. The 18 inches from Magnus's Gauntlets of Ultramar is just short. It's about here right now to where the Exalted Sorcerer is. But the Hand of Dominion is going to be able to open up here, and that thing is pretty much a bolt, heavy bolter, like strapped on the bottom of Roboute Guilliman's massive Power Fist. And then the Relic Shield Captain out front has a heavy bolt pistol, so that's not in range, but we'll at least be able to get a couple shots down here for the Ultramarines and maybe start to plink some wounds off of the Thousand Suns. This may be first blood for the game. We have the Hand of Dominion from Roboute Guilliman firing into a Ryman. There are 2 attacks. This thing does get a rapid fire too, but I would have to be within 15 inches of Ryman to get that. At least I'm getting 2 in here, hitting on a 2+. And he can reroll. Also, I should state here, since it is Roboute Guilliman, they can have 1 Oath of Moment target, and then if that is destroyed in the turn, it can flip over to someone else. So right now, that Oath of Moment target is going to be a Ryman. And then the second Oath of Moment is going to be Magnus the Red. So both of those are through. It is a Strength 6 versus Toughness 4, 3s to wound. And I can add 1 to this because of Oath of Moment, and it's coming in double barrel because of them being a Codex specific chapter, and Roboute wrote it. So this 2 becomes a 3. Both are through. It's a -2 to AP, so I'll flip over to the dice here. A Ryman usually has a 3+. This is going to bring up to a 4+ save, and anything that is not saved here is 2 damage. So looking for 4+ for a Ryman, and he saved both. So Thousand Suns starting off the rolls pretty well, doing okay for the Ultramarines. It is moving back over to the Thousand Suns now though, and with Magnus's ability to fly, he might be on top of and across that landing pad to take his perch once again and start to beam down a whole bunch of crazy ass Thousand Sun warp charged ranged attacks. So let's see how it goes. The battlefield has shrunk once again. All models very close now, and I believe the Thousand Suns have every single Ultramarine in line of sight and in range. So we have the Exalted Sorcerer move the full 10 inches. He's going to start putting some attacks down on those Victrix Honor Guard and possibly Magnus if he's able to get some super good rolls. Magnus, once again, just like I said in the last battle here, UFC fights, you want to take the middle of the ring. He has got that again. He's up on top of the structure, and that's why it is so important, I think, for him to have taken this area at the beginning of both fights, last and this one, and he can definitely start raining down some attacks onto his brother Roboute and the Relic Shield Captain. And then last but not least, we have a Ryman here who is also wheeled around on the right and is going to start putting some range down on the Relic Shield Captain and Roboute. I'm going to have to actually check and see. I don't think these guys would be considered a unit because they can't lead each other. So I'll have to see, having the Relic Shield Captain there is kind of a sacrifice for Roboute. Might work if the attacks are coming down from this angle. But if a Ryman is coming from this angle, I think he'd be able to plunk away at Roboute right away. So I'm going to have to look at that, see if there's any rules there regarding unit stuff. But I know Roboute definitely buffs out characters that are 6 inches away from him, so the captain is going to get that, and vice versa if the captain has anything that would help out Roboute. But as per being a unit, I don't think that that is the case here. So I am going to check out all the range stats for the Thousand Suns. We're going to come back and start rolling for them, and we're going to see if any of these Ultramarines start to go down from the powers of the warp. Okay, so let's let the possible onslaught begin here. I really like the Thousand Suns Cabal abilities. That's super cool. You're gambling with the warps and the powers of it, and if you're going to become a conduit, you could get severely burnt by it. So it's pretty cool. We're going to start here with the Exalted Sorcerer. We are going to be doing Cabal of Sorcerers. I'm going to go all out here. This is the final, so I'm going to start rolling 3s right off the bat. So the Exalted Sorcerer does not have the ability to add 1 to the roll, where Ryman does, because of his special ability as Arch Sorcerer of Tzeentch. So we're rolling here. If there's doubles or triples, it is going to be a hazard to the Exalted Sorcerer, but let's see what he gets. So we got 2 3s. That ain't good. Let me just read this again to make sure. If you guys want to hear more about the Cabal of Sorcerers and how that works, you can check out the first battle, the Thousand Suns versus Angron. So if one or more doubles or triples were rolled during this test, that model's unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If that model is not destroyed, the combined total of all dice rolled during this test is of the psychic test result, if this equals to or exceeds the warp challenge. So pretty much what happens here, I'm trying to sum it up in my head and at the same time mention it to you guys. So what's happened is there has been doubles. I'm going to add this up right now so I don't forget. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11 total. So that's 11. But I have to do a D3 roll here. I'll use the black dice for that. And this is how many mortal wounds our Exalted Sorcerer is going to be taking. So he has taken the full amount. He is still alive though, which means that these attacks are going to happen, but it has cooked him a little bit to be able to do it. So he's, just picturing putting his staff up to the air, summoning some powers from the warp. The powers have been given to him, but as a penalty and kind of a price, he's been cooked a little bit from those warp energies. So he has gone from 6 wounds down to 3, just over on the other side of the table, flipping his dice around. He had an 11 score, as we saw on the tray. So I am going to be doing my favorite, which is Doombolt. Since this was 11 plus, the unit that is being hit by it, which is the Victrix Honor Guard and Magnus Calgar, is going to be D3 plus 3. So I'm going to be rolling another black dice here. Another pretty good roll, not as good as that 6. So we cut this in half, that becomes 2 plus 3 is 5 wounds. So that means that one of our Victrix Honor Guard is dead because it has to go to those models first as their bodyguard units for Magnus Calgar. And the other is down to 1 wound. So that did what it was supposed to do. However, the Exalted Sorcerer has taken a bit of damage from the warp. It is now moving over to Ariman and over to Magnus the Red to see what's going to happen to the Relic Shield Captain and Roboute Gilliman. Okay, so once again, we're going to be sucking into the warp here with some powers for Ariman. Ariman could definitely take some damage here. This is actually going to be against Roboute since Ariman has the angle on him. And these are not considered a unit, so I just did some reading there. Apparently, if Roboute is 3 inches or more away from an Ultramarine model, he does become a lone operative. So anything within 12 inches is what has to actually have range to hit him. And in this case, Ariman is actually just within 12 inches anyway. So even if that rule is in play, Roboute is definitely going to maybe take some damage here. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to be doing the 3 dice roll here. The nice thing about Ariman is he has the ability as the Arch Sorcerer of Tzeentch. So each time this model attempts a ritual, add 1 to the psychic test result. And that can change a dice out. Don't know if that's the way that it's supposed to be, but that's the way I am deciphering this rule, the way I did it last battle and the previous battle. And we're going to see how he does right here. So this is Cabal of Sorcerers. So he got 2 5s. I'm going to flip that to a 6 because he has that ability. So there has been no doubles. So he has not taken any wounds. And I think I'm going to do my good old Doombolt again here because that is, whoops, that was a 5. That is 11, 12, 13. So this is going to be the full amount of D3 plus 3 mortal wounds coming in at Roboute. We're going to be rolling a D6 and then cutting it in half. So that becomes a 2 because that is 1.5. Rounded up is 2. So 2 plus 3. There's our 2. And then plus 3. We have 5 dice in total. Sorry, this is, yeah, so it's 5 wounds. Wow, I'm starting to lose it. So yeah, what happened there is the dice was cut in half, so it was a 3, becomes a 2, and then we add 3 to that. It is a 5 in total, so that means Roboute Gilliman has gone from his full 10 wounds to half of that, which is now 5 wounds. Magnus, who's up on the landing pad, does not really have line of sight on Roboute, so he's going to have to cut through that Relic Shield Captain first. That's kind of the captain's job there. He's trying to protect his Primarch. So the captain is going to be facing the full-on onslaught of Magnus's attacks. And again, I'm doing the ranged weapon profiles here because they're so powerful for Magnus. But I'm not sure. He might be able to actually do his Cabal of Sorcerers too, but that could also hurt him. So this is not a bad move. We're going to be doing 3d3 here. So 3d3. So we have 1, 2. That's 2. We have 4 in total. Not a great roll. So these are hitting on a 2+. Wow, not great so far. So those both fall off. It is strength 11 though versus the captain's toughness of 4. So this is going to be 2s to wound. Got both of those. -2 to AP. The Relic Shield captain does have a 4+, so he's been brought up to that. And he did save 1, so we have a 4 and we have a 2. And with this, that is 3 wounds allocated to the Relic Shield captain. So he goes from 6 wounds because of that Relic Shield down to 3. And now he also has to survive the next attack here by Magnus, which has been also pretty devastating to some lower toughness models, which is the case here, as the captain only has a 4 toughness. So this is Tzeentch's Firestorm. It is D6 plus 3. That was a better roll. So we have 4 plus 3. There it is. 7 total. Hitting on a 2+. Oof. Not rolling great. 3 fell off there. 4 through. 6 strength versus toughness 4. This is going to be 3s to wound. Wow. More fell off. We had a 2, 2, 1. They do not count. This 6 does. It's a -1 to AP, so that brings our captain with Relic Shield up to his 4+, invulnerable. And he saved it. So that would have been 2 damage gone through if that was not the case. So the Ultramarines fight on. They have lost a Victrix Honor Guard. The other one is super beat up. I'll go over and sum that up in just a sec, actually, on the table, show you guys the models, and get out of the dice tray for a bit. So that ends the Thousand Suns shoot. I would say still a pretty successful turn. There's only 3 models here. They're worth a lot of points, but holy shit, they can bring the attacks. It's crazy with that range and the Cabal of Sorcerers. So to sum that one up here and to show you guys what's going on the table, we did lose a Victrix Honor Guard for those cheering for the Ultramarines. The remaining Victrix Honor Guard has only 1 wound remaining. The Relic Shield captain here also got roasted pretty good. He is from 6 to 3 wounds. And Roboute also took some pretty big damage there. He's down to half of his wounds at 5. Ryman was able to do the attack there. The Exalted Sorcerer, however, took some damage from the warp while he was using that staff to be a conduit. And he is down to 3 wounds from his original 6. Roboute does have the Armor of Fate, which may bring him back, so that is something we'll have to get to if that is the case. But first things first, the Ultramarines are on the offensive now, and I might put every single ranged weapon down on Magnus. Maybe break it up. We'll have to see what the range is looking like, and we'll get back to the tray and show you guys what I've decided. Maybe some moves here too, but I'm not sure. The closer I get, the more attacks they're opened up to from Tzeentch and the Thousand Suns. So I'll step away, do a little bit of strategy, come back and show you guys what I've decided for the boys in blue. Ultramarines have moved. We have Magnus and the Victrix Honor Guard closing in with the Exalted Sorcerer, who was wounded there from those last warp attacks that it did from the Cabal of Sorcerers. This is turning, actually, I was just thinking of that, into Space Marine 2. So we have Magnus there versus Tzeentch, which, spoiler alert, you're fighting Tyranid at the start, and it turns into a massive Thousand Suns army and demons coming at them. We have Magnus up here, and Roboute and the Relic Shield captain have also moved in. I've, if you guys can see over here, put this tree between Ryman and Roboute. So Ryman's not going to have line of sight there with those attacks unless they are ignores cover. I'd have to check and see to make sure. The Relic Shield captain, though, is going to be taking one for Roboute if he can. And the angle here as well, if Magnus decides to shoot down. Since he's got the height there, he might actually be able to put an attack down on Roboute, but we'll have to see. But first thing is first, we do have the Ultramarines up for their shoot. So we're hoping to kill some of these Thousand Suns right here. Not the strongest ranged attacks, but you may get some lucky rolls, and we'll see if any wounds get chipped off of Magnus and the rest of his Thousand Sun sorcerers. In the dice tray we go. We are going to start up with Magnus here. The Victrix Honor Guard, I apologize if I said that they might have a heavy bolt pistol earlier. They do not. They're strictly melee. I think I was talking with the Relic Captain when I said that they had a heavy bolt pistol. But the Gauntlets of Ultramar souped up with the Oath of Moment, as well as the Twin Length is going to be absolutely devastating. So Roboute is locking this down. The Oath of Moment targets for this round are going to be the Exalted Sorcerer to help out Magnus, And then the secondary is going to be Magnus to help himself out. So if Marnius can kill the Exalted Sorcerer here, that Oath of Moment target flips over to Magnus, and we're going to be getting some bonuses there, whoever's shooting at him. So we're going to start up. Actually, it's going to be red dice for the Ultramarines. So this is 4 attacks coming in, hitting on a 2+. So these 2 made it through. That was a terrible roll, but luckily I can re-roll these because of Oath of Moment. And he picked up those additional. That was a 2. So he picked up those additional. It is strength 4 versus toughness 4. With twin linked, I can re-roll the wound rolls and then also add 1 to anything as well. So that makes Marnius pretty much a fucking sniper with the Gauntlets of Ultramar. Hopefully he can roll everything here. I don't want to talk him up too much, but that's some really good buffs. So we're looking for 4s here. So he didn't get it there. He got 1. There is a 1, 2, 2, but I can re-roll these because of twin linked. Holy shite. So yeah, I was talking him up a little bit too much. This 3 is going to become a 4 because I can add 1 on to the wound roll because of Oath of Moment. Those 2 fall off. It is a -1 to AP, which is going to be bringing the Exalted Sorcerer on Disc of Tzeentch up to a 4+ invulnerable. Wow, and that is the end of him. So he needed 4s. It was a -1 to AP. Usual save is 3+. That brings it up to his 4. It is 2 damage per. So we have 2 4 wounds going through on the 3 wounds that the Exalted Sorcerer had remaining. He would have still been alive if he hadn't tried to channel the warp through his body and nuke himself there last turn. He was able to do some damage to the Victrix, but that is the end of the Exalted Sorcerer and the end of one of their Cabal of Sorcerer abilities. Now I'm going to move this over since that first Oath of Moment target has been removed. It is now going to be the Relic Shield Captain firing on Magnus and Roboute firing on Magnus with the Hand of Dominion. Over to the Relic Shield Captain and his Primarch Roboute Gilliman. We're going to start off with the Relic Shield Captain, so I'm grabbing a red dice. It's the Heavy Bolt Pistol hitting on a 2+. I can re-roll. Got it. It is strength 4 versus a staggering toughness of 11 for Magnus, though, so I'm going to need a 6 here, but I can also add 1 to this because that is our second Oath of Moment target. Didn't get it. So the Heavy Bolt Pistol just planked off of Magnus's massive form. I also have to remember, too, that Magnus does have the Crimson King ability, and that is Impossible Form. So each time an attack is made against this Psyker, excluding psychic attacks, so there's no Psychers here with the Ultramarine, sadly, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. So even if Roboute here does get a couple shots through, it's possible that the damage is going to be nullified, mattering on how many I get. Roboute is also within 15 inches of Magnus, so he's going to get the Rapid Fire 2+. So usually the Hand of Dominion is 2 attacks. Because it's Rapid Fire, the 30 inches maximum cut in half to 15 allows you to have 2 more dice because the power of that Hand of Dominion, I guess, at a shorter range is able to get more oomph through. So this is going to be hitting on a 2+, and I can re-roll. Don't need to. All those are through. It is strength 6 versus toughness 11. 5s to wound. So he got this one through. These, however, even if I add 1, it's not going to work. So we're going to see how much damage is going through here if it damages Magnus at all. So this is through. It is a -2 to AP. Brings Magnus up to his 4+ invulnerable save. And he has made it. So even if that had gone through, the 2 damage of the Hand of Dominion would have been reduced to 1 damage, but that did not happen at all. Magnus is fine, and it is moving back over to the Thousand Suns here. I'm going to have to look at the field for them, because they don't have that extra punch with the Exalted Sorcerer. Magnus can also get into hand-to-hand combat here. There's no issue with Roboute fighting first like the Lion would have. So yeah, I'm going to have to see what I want to do here and really play it well for the Thousand Suns, and then also see what the Ultramarines can do after. But over to them. I'll go to the table, though, to sum up everything after they move and let you guys know my plan. Uh-oh, this is not looking good for Roboute. He does have the Armor of Fate, though, so he might be coming back here if he's able to survive these attacks. So Orion flew in behind the tree to make sure that he had line of sight and range. He's going to be putting some Cabal of Sorcerers down on Roboute. Magnus flew off of the landing pad down here his full 14 inches, and he is going to start doing some more of his ranged attack on Roboute. The captain's just outside of range there. He is not really much of a care for the Thousand Suns, and then Magnus, just too far away, is going to possibly have to watch his Primarch go down here. So we are going to see what happens here. I'm going to be going back to the tray, getting these shoots done for the Thousand Suns, and we will see if Roboute Guilliman is still standing after this. Ryman is going to kick this one off. We're going to be doing Cabal of Sorcerers again, going balls to the wall here. It's going to be 3d3. Let's see how it goes. So with this again, I'm able to roll that into a 6 because of the Arch Sorcerer of Tzeentch. So we have another very high roll. We have 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm going to do my good old Doombolt. It's got that 11 plus. So this is going to be D3 plus 3 mortal wounds to Roboute. Not good. So we have 3 that gets cut in half, 2.5 rounded up, 3 plus 3 is going to be 6 wounds. That is actually the end of Roboute Guilliman. He has been killed by the Chief Librarian, now known as the Arch Sorcerer of Tzeentch, Ryman. No slouch, extremely powerful psyker. But we do have Roboute's Armor of Fate, and we're going to see if that comes into play here. All previous battles in the Fight 'em Up series, I think he had to use it in the heavyweight, and it was a roll that was able to do it. So I'm going to do a red dice. I'll just read this to you guys so you know. So the first time this model is destroyed, which is right now, roll 1d6. At the end of the phase, on a 3+, set this model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of any enemy units with 6 wounds remaining. So we're looking for a 3+ here for Roboute. And he got it. So he will be coming back at the end of this phase. He's removed from the table right now. He's going to be coming back with 6 wounds. So they're going to have to kill him again. That does, however, leave the entire force here of the Ultramarines without him for the remainder of this turn. I was originally going to put Magnus's attacks onto Roboute if it was needed. I'm actually going to flip him around. So he's just turning right now. And he is going to be putting these attacks down on the Victrix Honor Guard and Marneus Calgar to hopefully wipe them off the field. So I'm going to do that right now. We're going to hop into Magnus's profile on my app. And once again, I don't know if I can do the range attacks with a Cabal of Sorcerers, but we're going to play it safe here. So this is going to start off with Tzeentch's Firestorm against the Victrix Honor Guard, D6 plus 3. So that is 2, 1, 2, plus 3, 5 dice in total. It's going to be hitting on a 2+. This one falls off. Strength 6 versus the Victrix Honor Guard's toughness of 4, 3s to wound. Pretty good there. So 1 fell off. We have triple 4s. So those are all through. It is a -1 to AP. That brings our Victrix Honor Guard up to the 4+ and vulnerable. I will save those with red dice. We can differentiate here. So looking for a 4 here. Sorry, the Victrix Honor Guard have 2+ usual saves. So this is going to be a 3 for them. It didn't matter. So there's a 3 that was rolled. 2, 3. Those were not enough. Sorry, 2 and 1. That means that the Victrix Honor Guard has taken 2 wounds to his 1, so he has been removed. And the worst possible case scenario here, the reason I broke those up the way I did, is the gaze of Magnus is now going to be coming on to Marneus Calgar solely. So let's see what we get here. 3d3 dice roll for attacks. So we have 3, 6, 7. Pretty good. Get my 7 dice out. There we go. So this is hitting on a 2+. Another very good roll. So 1 fell off there. All those are through. We have 6 attacks going through on Marneus. This isn't looking good. It is a strength 11 versus Marneus's toughness 6. He does have a higher toughness in that pretty sweet armor. But we're going to need 3s here to wound. So it could have been 2s, so it could have been worse. So these 2 fall off. There are 4 attacks that are through. -2 to AP. That is going to bring Magnus up to his 4+ invulnerable. So I'm just going to grab 4 red dice here. If you guys are cheering for the boys in blue, those Ultramarines, you're looking for 4s here for Magnus. Ugh, not enough. So he did save one. One of the attacks kind of bounced off, or he was able to jump out of its way. However, 3 have gone through. We have 2, 1, 1. He does not have the Feel No Pain. That was another reason why I wanted to attack the Victrix with that lower strength to make sure that he loses that. So if 1 Victrix Honor Guard was still remaining, Magnus would have a 4+ Feel No Pain. But with these dice, he has taken 3, 6, 9 wounds. It is 3 per. And the chapter master of the Ultramarines, Magnus Caligar, has been killed by Magnus the Red. That is it right now for the Ultramarines. We are going to be setting Roboute back up on the field here outside of engagement range with 6 wounds remaining. And he has the Relic Captain there, so I'm thinking I'm going to try to place him as close as I can to the Relic Captain to kind of focus in some fire. But these Thousand Suns are super strong. They had the smallest amount of models in the battle, or in the entire Fight 'em Up series here for Primarchs and a Posse, yet they're still plowing ahead of everybody. So I'll show you guys where I have set up Roboute, and then it's moving back over to the Ultramarines. Absolutely devastating turn there for the Thousand Suns. They were able to kill Victrix Honor Guard, Magnus Caligar, kill Roboute. The captain currently is still here trying to hold down the ground until his Primarch returns, and just like that, the Armor of Fate goes poof, and Roboute is back over here with 6 wounds. So it has to be outside of engagement range. I always think of that as hand-to-hand, but that could also be ranged, so I've set him up 24 inches out. Roboute does have that 30 inches with the Hand of Dominion, though, so he's going to be putting some rounds down onto a Ryman, and I believe the captain is going to do the same with his heavy bolt pistol to try to kill a Ryman outright. A Ryman still has 6 wounds. He has not been hurt by the warp because of that Arch Sorcerer of Tzeentch ability. But if he starts taking some rounds from the Hand of Dominion, thudding down on him like an explosive 50 cal round, pretty much, maybe even bigger. Hoping to take him out here. So let's see how it goes. Over to the tray. Okay, so you guys might be thinking there, the Relic Shield Captain is within 6 inches, so could jump into hand-to-hand combat with a Ryman. I do want to be able to shoot at him with the Hand of Dominion, though. So Roboute there, off camera, moved up his 8 inches, so a little bit better range. That is not within the 15 inches that's required. I'm going to double-check that just in case, though, for... Yes, he is. So this is actually going to be 4 rounds from the Hand of Dominion, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do that, because if I had locked into hand-to-hand combat with the Relic Shield Captain, a Ryman can no longer be shot at by the Hand of Dominion, and then Magnus is not really in line of sight or range for Roboute. So we're going to get this going. It is going to be 4 attacks coming in. The Oath of Moment target here is going to be a Ryman, number 1, and then Magnus, number 2. And then if a Ryman is killed here, it's going to be Magnus solely till the end of this fight. So with a Ryman in there, I'm going to be able to reroll hit rolls and add 1 to wound rolls. So here we go, looking for a 2+. All are through, no need to reroll. It is strength 6 versus toughness 4, 3s to wound. I can add 1 here because Oath of Moment target, so that becomes a 3, so all are through. That is a -2 to AP. That brings a Ryman up to his 4+ invulnerable. And pretty good roll there. So 4, 5, 6. This, however, has gone through, and it has taken 2 wounds off of a Ryman. He is now down to 4. And I'm going to be moving over to the Relic Shield Captain with his heavy bolt pistol to see if maybe 1 more wound can be peeled off here. And again, we're going to have Oath of Moment locked in. So 2+. Got it. 4 against 4. This is going to be a 4 to wound. That doesn't help. He can't reroll. That would have turned into a 2. Not high enough. He needed a 4. So that is the end of the Ultramarines. And it is back over to the Thousand Suns. That was actually a really important shoot. I was hoping that they would have been able to kill a Ryman. A Ryman is still alive. Also, no real slouch in hand-to-hand. He's got the Black Staff of a Ryman. And I think I might be flying in to get this going. And Magnus is like, you know what? I think I might want to fight my brother hand on hand. So we're going to do some moves here for the Thousand Suns. I will come right back and show you guys exactly what has happened. So super excited here to get into these. We have a Ryman that has gone in with the initiative against the Relic Shield Captain. The Relic Shield Captain does have an ability called Finest Hour, which I'm also going to be locking in here. And that is if he gets the chance to fight back, he can get extra attacks. And then over here, Magnus flew his full 14 inches facing down his brother Roboute. He's going to be putting more of those devastating range attacks down. And he has opened himself up to hand-to-hand combat. So if that is the case, the Emperor's Sword is powerful, but that Hand of Dominion is absolutely devastating. So we will see what happens. Roboute does have 6 wounds left. Magnus's range attacks, very possible of wiping that out. And Roboute cannot come back to life because the Armor of Fate has been exhausted. And then over here, we have both a little bit beat up, the Relic Shield Captain with those 3 wounds, and a Ryman with the 4 wounds. So we'll get to the shoot first, have to do that, and then we'll get into the hand-to-hand combat. Let's see what Magnus can do to Roboute. All right, so Magnus is going to get going here. All of his attacks are coming in on a sole target now, which is Roboute Guilliman, his previous Primarch brother, now enemy. So this is going to be Gaze of Magnus, 3d3. So that is 3, 4, 5 dice in total. There it is. It is hitting on a 2+. And 1 has fallen off. 4 are through. Strength 11 versus toughness 9. Going to need 3s to wound here. 3 of the 4 are through. -2 to AP brings Roboute up to his 4+ invulnerable. Oh, man. And that is the end. Just like that, Roboute is not going to get a chance to fight back. Wow, the Thousand Suns are crazy strong. I didn't know this. I used them last time in my Cadian Crusade, and it sucks that that battle didn't fully record because I had an issue. I deleted a file by accident. But they did super well against the Guardsmen. There was just so many with the tanks. I guess they were able to plink away at Magnus to finish him off. But on a board this size, with all of his range pretty much there right off the bat, wow. So Roboute has been killed. That is 9 wounds through. That was 3 damage per. I'm just removing him. There is no use of Armor of Fate. So the sole Ultramarine model left is the Captain with Relic Shield. And we are going to be getting over to that in just a sec, as Ryman actually has initiative, and we'll be fighting first with that. Maybe the last fight and turn of the game here. We have a Ryman who flew in, locked into hand-to-hand combat with the remaining Ultramarine model, the Relic Shield Captain. A Ryman has the Black Staff of a Ryman. It is 5 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 7. Very good weapon. So 1 has fallen off. No rerolls there allowed. It is strength 7 versus toughness 4, 3s to wound. Another one has fallen off, so there's maybe a chance that the captain can survive these. So there's 3 attacks through. It is a -1 to AP. That brings our Relic Shield Captain up to a 4+. There we go. And it's 3 damage per. Oh my gosh. A Ryman's pretty damn good. That's like, I don't want to say on the level of Karn, but for first captain, for Chaos, pretty damn good. So, okay, looking for 4s. And this was saved. However, these 2 have gone through. It is 3, 6 damage. That would have killed the Relic Shield Captain outright at the beginning of the fight. No ability to come back there. No Armor of Fate for our captain. The Thousand Suns have won Finnigan40K Fight 'em Up series, Primarch, and their Posse. They have knocked down both the Lion and the Dark Angels and Roboute Guilliman and the Ultramarines. Incredible fight. These guys you don't want to mess with. I am going to hop over to the table, show you guys the victors with their remaining wounds. They actually did better against the Ultramarines than they did against the Lion. So moving over to that, and I'll show you guys these victors. There they are, Magnus the Red with his full 16 wounds still intact. We have a Ryman with 4 wounds remaining, started off with 6. Incredible showing by them. Those range attacks by Magnus are crazy. Ryman's ability with the Cabal of Sorcerers there and his Sorcerer of Tzeentch really just kind of nuked everybody. So they only lost the Exalted Sorcerer. These guys are one of the most expensive armies, but also had the least amount of models. They had 3 in total, going up against the Lion and the Dark Angel. I think that had 7. So yeah, here are your victors. They have won it all. Next up for Finnigan40K is going to be my Adepta Sororitas, aka Sisters of Battle, aka Battle Sisters Crusade. Very excited to get that going. Give you guys a little peek at that force, then we'll come back to Orion or Magnus and Orion. So I've put together quite a force. I have a lot of Battle Sisters. I love the models. They're going to be starting off with that 1,000 points as per the Crusade rules. So I have 4 shelves of them here. If you guys want to see my entire armies, you can check out the very first video on the channel. And then down here we have more Sisters Repentia, and some more of the characters, my tanks as well. So that is going to be incredible. They are going to be going through a gauntlet of 7 fights. You might actually see the 1,000 Suns in there as they took on my Cadian in that first Crusade, which is also one of my playlists. You guys can see my Cadian Narrative Crusade. So we may be seeing Magnus and Orion there pretty soon. I'll have to look at the forces I have lined up. But for today, they are the victors. They get all the spoils, and they have wiped out a lot of very strong hand-to-hand combat forces as well as range forces. So here they are. That is it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye for now.